Hey guys, so I am back after a really long period of time where I just didn't upload any YouTube videos whatsoever or contribute anything to my channel. And I am very happy to say that I am coming back with full force and dedication to every single video I make. Between the quality of the videos, the visual and auditory elements, especially with new editing softwares I'm finally getting and using to contribute here, and I'm also going to go much more in depth with each movie that I talk about. And I also just wanted to say that I really appreciate each person who has regularly supported my channel and watched my videos all the way through, and I'm really happy to see you if you're coming back. So, the biggest thing I'm excited about is the new Batman that is coming out. And it's a big thing I'm excited to talk about, not only to watch, but just to really be able to gather my thoughts on and review as I go and watch it in the fan premiere tomorrow. And another thing is, I am just wanting to cover more Batman movies in general, particularly The Long Halloween and the entire Dark Knight trilogy and the older Batman movies that I hadn't covered as much. So, the one that I'm talking about today is Year One. Batman Year One is a phenomenal comic, and I really liked what it started and how it got the universe set up, and it's definitely up there as one of my favorite Batman comics of all time. Um, I would say almost right behind The Long Halloween. But the biggest thing is, this film adaptation of it that I'm talking about is really, um, how do I say it? A little too faithful to the comic. If a movie can even be too faithful. The biggest issue I have with it is that it has way too much just taken straight out of the comic, like almost just pulled out of it directly without being given more depth and more elaboration with the storyline. And it's just like with the thought bubbles and lines of dialogue in the comic, they're just practically inserted into the screenplay directly, and they don't really do anything to make it feel like an actual animated feature other than making really good action sequences and adding some really solid visual elements to it. I really do enjoy the entire sequence of Gordon going and chasing down Flass after he leaves the party and just showing him who's boss by beating him up even after giving him a baseball bat. That was a really effective and really great sequence, but I was also disappointed because they really could have gone deeper into the conflict between the two and just how horrible Detective Lass was as a character, because they had really great ideas going and from what they were taking from the comic, but there is so much more they could have elaborated on and they could have gone deeper with. There was a lot more that they did with other comic book adaptations in animated features, like The Long Halloween, where they fleshed out a lot more story elements and really made them deeper or brought certain action sequences more to life and really fleshed them out better. They did not do any of that with Batman Year One. It just felt rather lazy and like they didn't really care as much about the story element or actually translating it into an animated feature, which was incredibly disappointing for me. So, other than that, I really like what they have, and I always enjoy watching it, even if it does just kind of feel like a comic book being read out to you. Like the visual elements and the auditory side, everything on the animation side is really deep, it's really good and effective, but I just wish they had more under the surface and they actually had more to say and more to do with what they were adapting. And I wish that they were able to grab more out of the material. But other than that, not a terrible adaptation by any means. Just felt a little gratuitous and lazy at times, which really disappointed me. I will also say, though, all of the strongest elements of the comic and some of the most emotionally impactful ones still held up really well as I watched the movie, or in the several times that I have. And overall, it's really not bad from that standpoint. There are really emotional scenes with Jim Gordon in regards to his child that he's having to raise and his overall life behind the police force. And I love what they did with that. I really overall like the backstory behind Bruce Wayne and how they introduced him and went into it. It had a very overall depressing and dark tone to it, and they really did a great job of capturing Gotham City as kind of a cesspool where the cops are really corrupt and are practically bounty hunters. And then also going into how Batman kind of forms his identity and his um overall demeanor as a hero and his motive behind everything he's doing. It is very powerful in that sense and how it's done. Overall, I love the story, so naturally I kind of have a bias towards this feature, and overall, not bad. It's just a matter of I wish they went deeper into the story and deeper into a lot of the elements of conflict between, especially between Jim Gordon and Flash, or Flash. But overall, I would give it a solid B minus. It's really not bad, and I would recommend it if you are looking for a solid comic book adaptation or just want to see the overall backstory from a source other than Batman Begins and something that's actually adapting a real comic. I think you might actually enjoy this. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this channel. I really anticipate going and seeing The Batman in the fan premiere on Tuesday and being able to get the video out by at least Thursday, as far as I'm planning. And really hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and I will see you in the next review.